Feeling undervalued in your role as dad. Man, I think this is a topic that is not widely discussed enough. I think I've seen things about dads feeling undervalued, underappreciated, but they don't go deeper. They don't talk about the effects it can have on the subconscious minds of dads who feel like their role just doesn't mean as much. And, I always tell this story about when a few years ago my son had his appendix removed. And so his mom and I are co-parenting, but we both obviously show up to the hospital for him and also for each other still, right? It's a healthy co-parenting situation. So we show up and we're at the hospital for maybe a couple of days, and pre and post surgery, right? Probably 20 times doctors have come in back and forth, nurses back and forth. And when I tell you, not one time did any of them like look at me, right? They just gave all the updates to his mom, right? Every single update was like just focused on his mom. And I'm right there. I'm in the room. I'm interested. I care about his well-being as well, but they don't even, it's like I'm invisible. Um this video isn't supposed to be a plug, but I talk about that in my 365 dad journal that I created for dads. So I'll put the link in there, and dads can go on and respond to different prompts I created to help this feeling. But anyway, like, I think what needs to be discussed is how we feel about that on a deeper level. If I'm being honest with you, it pisses me off, right? But not only does it piss me off, it also diminishes my self-worth. It can feel like, I guess I'm just supposed to just be the one that's giving money and doing all the brunt work of the things that are not nurturing. That's what it is. Like, I'm a nurturer at heart, and sometimes it could feel like I'm not supposed to be that way because no one wants to like accept that in my role. It's just like everything is about um, macho and raising your kids to be, don't let them ever back down and raise them like this. And I don't know if y'all can hear that in the back. This is my first ever YouTube video, and the fact that that's happening, I think it's like a spiritual test. It's like a sign for me to just like relax, let go, and like continue the message, because that's what's most important, not the noise, the message. Um, so I'm like, it's a teaching moment, learning moment for me. But anyway, yeah, man, I just think as dads, sometimes like I go to parent teacher conferences, and well, I go to every single parent teacher conference, but sometimes when I'm at parent teacher conferences, it's the same thing. The teacher is literally just staring at my son's mom. My daughter is 2. I just had this recently happen for the last couple of years when we go to parent teacher conference for her and her daycare. It's the same thing, but especially with my son, he's 12. And I mean, for years, I've been dealing with this. Every single parent teacher conference, like, no one is looking at me. No one is like giving me any eye contact. And it's like, why am I here? Right? Like, I'm not here to be ignored, right? I'm here because I'm invested in my child's educational development. That's why I drove an hour to be here. um, right? So I think the next thing for me is to talk about how do I process that, and how do I think other dads around the world can process not feeling valued, not feeling appreciated. I think what you don't want to do is what I did at first, is suppress it, get mad at the mom, maybe low key, right? Get mad at moms, or get mad at how society makes us to be like not as equally important, and that shit sucks, right? That's what you don't want to do. um I don't even know if I can curse on YouTube. Hopefully this doesn't cost me or something, but yeah, so the healthy way to go about this is to journal. Yep, another guy talking about journaling. And why is that? At first it could seem like, here we go again, another person telling me to journal. The reason why journaling is actually beneficial is it's like a sanctuary, right? It's like a place for you to process. And this is now you're looking inwards. So what I don't want people to do is just think that by like journaling is going to like solve everything. What you need to do is process the deep rooted feelings, but you can only do that through self reflection. And journaling just happens to be a method of self reflection. So, like when I journal, I talk about that. I'm like, all right, this is how I felt when I went to Caleb's game. I went to Caleb's parent teacher conference and no one looked at me, right? This is how I felt when I was in the hospital and nobody gave me any attention. No one gave me the updates, right? This is how I feel. And then I write about it. And then it's like, well, why do I feel that way? Obvious reasons why I feel that way. But now, what is that from? Like, keep going layer by layer. And I found out that I'm mostly pissed because my dad wasn't as present in my life and missed a lot of moments. So if I'm trying my hardest to not be like him with my son, my ego wants acknowledgement, right? My ego wants like to be acknowledged for not being like my dad when it comes to like um, showing up. Just want to preface, my dad is present physically and as a child, but him and I talked, and I advised him that his lack of presence when it comes to like the small tiny things affected me. And we like as adults we've worked through that, but I never want my child, either of them, my son, my daughter, I never want them to feel how I felt as a teenager, feeling like, and even as a preteen, feeling like my dad doesn't love me because everything he does is just like financial. I don't want that. I want to nurture, I want to provide, I want to do it all. So my ego did not like the fact that I wasn't being, I guess, celebrated for that, maybe, right? But you'll never know that if you don't self-reflect. And this can be through this could be through meditation, stillness, which I'll talk a lot about in this channel. But journaling is really what made me realize that was at the core of my frustration about feeling undervalued. And once you realize what's at the core of your frustration about feeling undervalued in your role as dad, you'll now start to like shapeshift. You'll start to like have different perceptions. So like, for example, I went to my daughter's daycare for a parent teacher conference, which sounds weird, right? A couple weeks ago. And now it's a game to me. Now it's, let me see how many times throughout this 30 minutes that they'll look at me, right? And I think the lady looked at me 4 times, whatever. But now it's like a game, because now my mind is not worried about what the ego wants, right? Now my mind is just about what I'm actually there for. Like, what I'm really there for is to get the information. Does it matter if I'm being looked at when the information is given? Yes, but it only matters to my ego. I want to feel like acknowledged. I want to feel celebrated for being there. At the end of the day, I do think it's like crappy that the expectations are imbalanced. But why did I get in the car? Right? I got in the car to go there to get the information, and that's what I got. Like, I didn't get in a car to go there and you know get looked at. So, but you don't come to that understanding until you do some deep self reflection. So I think that's important, and I think I'm going to end this video on that. Just remember, if you're feeling undervalued as a dad, you got to do some things that will allow you to see the core and deeper reasons of why you're feeling that way. And chances are, once you peel back each layer, you'll be like me and you'll realize that it's really just like an ego thing. Yeah, yeah, man. I hope you have a great day. And if you're watching this at nighttime, I hope you've had a great day, and I hope you have a better tomorrow. Deuces.